HPV is like a 1 in every 6 type of thing. Like 1 in every 6 people have HPV, and you don't even fucking know.
If you went to
Especially
college,
men.
if you went to college,
If you went to college, you have HPV.
And now, it's time for the Sticks and Stones podcast. Just like the barbershop, but with better hair. Stick City, stand the fuck up. And now, here's your hosts, Jeremy Barnes and Corbin Shepard. Gentlemen, the floor is yours.
Welcome back to another episode of Sticks and Stones. We're back, and it is June 9th. It is 9 o'clock on the dot, and we got a episode that we're pretty much going to free ball because we ain't got shit for you, but fuck it.
It's been busy. You know what? As you were saying that, all I could think of is like a murder podcast when like the dude, like the detective is like speaking into his recorder. It was at this date at this time.
He was mutilated 16
official.
different ways.
Oh, super official.
Amanda listens to those podcasts constantly, man.
Oh, they're
I'll walk
good,
by.
though.
Nah, man. It's too much, dude.
Not all of them. Like, it has to be a real good one to get me hooked. Like, there was one that I got hooked on a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, it was on my drive back and forth from Dayton to Cincinnati when I was living down there. And I would get home and I'd sit in my car for like 20, 30 minutes just to catch another, just to get that next episode in. 'Cause I just couldn't stop listening.
Yeah.
They're good,
Yeah,
man.
You're kind of like me, except with the old wrestling podcast. I've been listening to Mick Foley just put out his last week, and it was 3 hours and 30 minutes long, and I've listened to it like every day on the way to work. I mean, he just goes off on these fucking tangents, dude. You can tell he got hit too many times across the head.
Right.
But it is a good podcast. I mean, that dude can, he's very eloquent, but he's also, he cannot stay focused.
Right.
But
Yeah.
We can't stay focused, so I don't have any.
Nah, I mean,
There's no reason for me to say anything.
yeah.
So we got a lot going on this past week with every day leading up to today. I think today was the only day that hasn't been any Deshaun Watson news this week.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
And we'll get into that.
But it's, I mean, I
It's
was
a lot.
really pulling for him. Yeah, but it ain't looking good.
I think we kind of all were there for a little bit because it went down that road where you were like, well, I mean, they're all settling except like 3 of them. I think we'll get into it, but
Right.
it's a lot going on.
Yeah.
And with that, I mean, there's some other news in sports. I mean, we have Game 3 of the NBA Finals last night. The Celtics won. They won 119.
What's the series score right now?
2-1 Celtics. Yeah, and they're currently in the portion where the Celtics get home and home. So Game 4 is Friday. Pretty big game for the Celtics. If they win that, I think they're.
If they win Friday, which I don't.
It'll put them at 3-1
Friday.
Well, you want the Warriors to win?
I mean, I don't really care, but I'm messed up over old boy texting Kobe. So yeah.
You still holding on to Tatum texting Kobe?
Yeah, man. I just can't fuck with that.
He still can't believe that Kobe was green.
Yeah,
He was that green gang, dude.
I don't support any of that nonsense.
That's fair. I mean, it's a different take.
It's just I think it was just some clout shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's fair.
You know.
I mean, so we did come across this article here right before we came on, and A rising star, Bryce Mitchell in the UFC, believes that the government was involved in the Texas school shooting.
Right.
Some conspiracy theory shit. I think the same thing was to be said about the Sandy Hook shit.
Oh,
People
yeah.
were saying that
People
were saying that they had hired actors, like what do they call them?
Trauma actors or something like that.
Yeah, something ridiculous.
Disaster
There was another
actors, I don't know.
I saw another one. They said that there was another disaster actor at Uvalde or Valde, sorry. Down in Texas. But I don't know, man. I don't watch the news like that. I couldn't tell you. I don't care to tell you if it was or it wasn't.
Well, right. I don't know. I think it's an ignorant thing to say. Like, don't get me wrong. He's entitled to say whatever he wants. He's a very Bryce Mitchell's a very down home, good old boy kind of. Don't get confused. His UFC name is Bryce Thug Nasty Mitchell. That don't fit at all. He's a very like Hank Williams Jr., A Country Boy Can't Survive theme song type of guy. You know what I mean?
Right.
Me personally, I go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I just say I mean I've heard him talk in different interviews. Theo Vaughn had him on. And I listened to everything Vaughn. So I mean, I listened to the episode. I mean, it was funny, it was goofy because it was Theo Vaughn, and Theo Vaughn's an amazing interviewer, but I don't know. I just feel like it was kind of trashy for him to say some shit like that.
Well, yeah, it's in bad taste, especially the timing, obviously. What we only are a week and a half removed.
Right.
But in the article, it says, according to Mitchell, the inaction of law enforcement on the scene was orchestrated by the government in an effort to garner support for gun legislation. This is what he said on the Schaub show, like quote for quote. When I say something, it's just because I care about it, Mitchell said during an appearance on the Schaub show, hosted by the former UFC fighter Brendan Schaub. Again, same circles as Theo. It kind of garners attention to his YouTube, all that shit.
Right.
I don't know if Schaub's like, hey, man, just say something, to, stir it up. I'm sure he probably didn't.
No, because
this
sounds
hoping.
Like something. Well, as hard right wing Bryce Mitchell is, I feel like that's definitely something that he would say. Like, and you wouldn't have to ask him to do it. Like, I have a feeling that is his actual opinion.
Well, that's the other thing. Is the next quote says, "I know that everybody is not going to agree with it, but if what I'm talking about I believe needs to be said, I'll say it even if there's going to be backlash." Mitchell then explained that he believes that the government was involved in the horrific mass murder of elementary school children. I did an interview with Ariel Helwani, and I went on there and said that the government is doing some school shootings. They're letting some of them happen, and they're also like the Las Vegas shooting. I believe that was a government collusion. The Las Vegas shooting was too suspicious. Too many things didn't line up.
So let's break this down. So you have an 18-year-old student from the school decides to go on a rampage. He starts with his own grandmother, okay, and then starts his rampage with his own grandmother, then goes to this school or gets dropped. He gets to the school and then starts shooting up the school. So you mean to tell me, and all the chaos of them trying to lock the school down while this kid is shooting people, and first responders are showing up, and police from different areas, and sheriffs and Texas Rangers, and whoever comes as fast as they can to what? Don't get me wrong, I don't feel like they acted fast enough at all, especially if off-duty Border Patrol special agent who was off duty, heard the gunshots, came to the scene, and ended it while getting shot himself.
Mm-hmm. Right. It shouldn't have came
you
to
mean
that.
to tell me
That's
they
for
had
sure.
time to run this up some type of government flagpole to say, yeah, you know what, just hang out outside for a while?
Right.
It's ignorant.
It's the same thing with the Las Vegas shooting. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
Las Vegas police are like probably the best police force, probably in the States.
They're definitely one of the top-notch police forces. And again, it's like this dude's shooting from a massive hotel with hundreds and hundreds of rooms, and they're trying to not
figure
only
out where
lock
it's even
down,
coming from.
Yeah, they're trying to lock down Vegas because there's a concert going on, a country music concert with like Jason Aldean and a bunch of other superstars going on.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to lock this shit down. Thousands of people scattered everywhere. Man, it's just, I don't know, man. It's just ignorant shit. I mean,
yeah, it's not a well thought out thing to say. It's just something to say to go on a podcast or a YouTube channel and garner some attention.
Right. And that's all fine and good if you believe that and that's your opinion and that there's nothing wrong with that. But I feel like you putting it out into the world, again, it's his business. He's allowed to do that. That's it, and that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
I don't support it. I think it's trashy. Like, no, I mean, this falls in. I don't think this necessarily falls in line with the same people that think JFK's assassination was a whatever, or conspiracy theory, or 9/11 was a government job.
There's healthy skepticism, and then there's
right
downright you're out there.
Right. And I don't know. I just think he's not really, he's just saying shit to be saying shit. And that's kind of the vibe I got from him when he was on Theo Von, is he just says a lot of shit just to be saying shit.
Right. He then went on to say those officers, when they swear into office, it's their duty to go in there and die for those kids on the spot. That's their job. Their job that day was to go in the school and die, or kill the guy that was killing everybody. And there shouldn't have been a zero hesitation. Zero. I'll say the exact same thing that I got censored for on Ariel Helwani. The government is getting involved in some of those shootings, and this is one I believe they were ordered to stand down. I believe they were ordered to stand down, sit outside that school while innocents were shot so that they could have a narrative to take on AR-15s specifically. And I'll say it again, I will die before I hand over, this is terribly said. I will die before I hand over, before I hand over that gun. I'll die in a shootout before I starve to death, because as soon as they take your guns, they're going to starve your ass to death just like they did the Jews.
No, oh, wow. Wow.
I maintain the same
again,
position.
all you're doing is like enforcing how ignorant I'm saying this dude is.
Right. I mean, no, it's all there. I mean, again, healthy skepticism. Like, yeah, there's some underlying things that happen. You were like, makes you question it. Like, what the fuck's going on? And obviously, there's questioning going on. I mean, they're questioning that police force, I think to the point where the police force wasn't working with the FBI there for a while because they were so pissed.
Right.
But that ain't going to work out for you. I mean,
and a lot of shit's going on. People are being questioned. Why didn't this end sooner? Because you've got American lives that somebody has to answer for in a way, kind of. And nobody has a real answer. You know what I mean?
right.
It's hard to be 100% prepared for something like this when, somebody walks into a school, and a school isn't necessarily known to be a place where you need to defend yourself against heavy gunfire. Not in this country anyways. So, are there better means of security? For sure. Are there better means of training? For sure. Are there things that could improve and everything else like that, yeah, absolutely. Is that a school where there was 2 to 3 to 4 teachers that had signed on to be trained and have a carry locked up in a classroom somewhere where they knew about it and all this other shit like that? No, it wasn't. Do I think that would have helped? Yeah, possibly. Yeah, I don't know, but nobody knows. So
there's no straight answer to how we fix this.
But I don't think that him saying shit like that helps anybody. It doesn't help him. It certainly doesn't help him. It's a quick way to get canceled, because if him popping off on this type of shit causes any kind of fire for Dana White or the UFC or that brand, his fighting career with the UFC is over. I know it's not the NFL, the NBA, the MLB, or anything like that, but I mean, Bryce Mitchell ain't the Notorious. You know what I mean?
He ain't John Jones.
You know what I mean? He ain't John Jones. He's not Conor McGregor. Bryce Mitchell is not high on the totem pole. So for Dana White to be like, nah, we're gonna be done with old boy because I don't need this kind of bullshit. I would do exactly that. I'd be like, I don't need this shit. Not in the part of the UFC. So
I don't need the headache
fight for
because
Bellator.
I'm gonna get heckled by the media asking all these questions. What are we gonna do
they'll ask
about
him,
him?
do you support what Bryce Mitchell said? And he's gonna be like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Right.
That's exactly what he'll say. He'll be like, I don't know what you're talking about.
He can't keep everybody under control. I mean, there's a lot of fighters.
No, and I get it, but and again, his opinion is that of his own, and that doesn't. But and when you, depending on who you are, your opinion can cost you if you don't know how to voice it. And in this instance, if I was Dana White and somebody had told me about this, I'd think heavily about, his fighting days in the UFC being over.
Right. I'd just be like, hey, man, I understand you have your opinions.
Right. It's
but
bad taste.
Let's not go on any kind of YouTube, any kind of podcast. Let's just keep it to yourself. Like, these are things that, sure, you can have an opinion, but man, it's not a good look for you.
Right.
You're an up and coming fighter. Like, build your name.
There's a school full of kids, middle schoolers, elementary students, that now have to carry the trauma and the visions and everything they dealt with that day. I don't agree with this 100%. I feel like this was bad taste, but I had caught on the news when I was in an account that had the news on a random TV, and I'm talking and everything else like that, and I can't help but to hear it coming in my ear. This young girl, a student, who witnessed her teacher getting shot in the head, and she was very graphic with her detail.
Right.
Her teacher getting shot in the head and other people getting shot and shots going through the whiteboard, and and you're out here saying this kind of shit.
Right.
It's just, I don't know, man. I know he's not doing it for any kind of fame or any type of clout or anything like that. The only reason that we're hearing about it is because somebody else agrees with us that's like, yo, this is fucked.
Oh, for sure.
So,
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I think what the police force did was a lack of any training. Like, they didn't do anything. Not in a timely manner.
Right. Their action wasn't as swift, but it wasn't as swift as it could have been. It wasn't as there's people question, had they acted faster, would there have been as many casualties, or had somebody done something sooner?
Right. And the story keeps changing. Every time I keep hearing something, it's changed every week.
My biggest again, I don't know the details. I don't even want to look into and dig up and read a bunch of shit about this. It's terrible, and I feel for the people that went through this, because I would never want to go through something like this. But I mean, in a brief way, I feel like if a passing by off-duty special agent, border patrol, whatever the fuck he was, had time to, again, pass by, hear these gunshots, turn around, figure out where the fuck they're coming from, go to that spot, arm himself out of his own vehicle, and go in and stop what was going on. I mean,
Yeah, it shouldn't be that way.
so there's already people on scene. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
I mean, that's my basic overview
Bryce-
opinion, and I could be 100% wrong. You know what I mean?
Well,
But-
I mean, Bryce just needs to.
I'm calling for Bryce Mitchell's cancel.
Fair. I mean, he's from Texarkana, man. You can't expect much.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy.
Any chance I get, you know I'm gonna do it.
Arkansas.
Yeah. He's if you haven't been down that way, just go down that way. It'll speak for itself.
It's a desolate place.
We're not even a week into June. We're jumping a different topic. We're moving on. We're not even a week into June.
More lighthearted.
And well, it's definitely different.
Yeah.
And we've already got Geico paying out $5.2 million in damages. I don't know what happened down there, but $5.2 million in damages for
There
a
wasn't
woman
even
that.
a car accident.
No, it was not.
I mean, there was an accident, but it wasn't a car accident.
Right. Geico has to pay out $5.2 million to a woman after she was infected with HPV during her intimate activities that took place in a insured personal vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
This happened in, I believe, Kansas City.
Kansas City, Missouri.
Yeah. The woman initiated a claim with Geico in February 21. I believe we went over this. I think we went over this in a former
No,
episode.
this is the first time we've talked about this.
Are you sure?
I'm 100% positive.
Okay. I think she would she put in a claim, but we were like, haha, yeah, right, good luck getting your money. Either way, she got her money. $5.2 million of it.
She hit the lottery.
February 21.
Tax free, I believe.
Is it? Because I would imagine she has to pay lawyer fees.
She's gonna have to pay lawyer fees, but I don't think she gets taxed on this. I don't know, but I'm pretty
Really?
sure that the government can't tax her on this.
Okay.
But she made $5.2 million, so she's gonna spend money like a millionaire. So everybody settle the fuck down. She'll pay her taxes. All right.
Right. After learning she contracted the sexually transmitted infection from a partner who knew but did not disclose his status. Since the incident in question, since the incident in question happened in her partner's car, she argued that his liability insurance was responsible for the damages. A settlement was reportedly offered to the Geico, whose lawyers declined, obviously, because they thought that good luck. As anybody who had a legal entanglement with insurance companies can possibly guess, the case went to arbitration. And what was certain was a surprise to Geico's legal team. Arbitration did not go their way. The woman's partner was found liable, and the arbitrator approved an award of $5.2 million in damages to be paid out to the insured, despite requests by Geico for a new hearing. The insurance company appealed to the courts on several grounds, claiming that the process was denied it the ability to have its day in court. The company's appeal was denied on all points. For anyone who's ever emerged to the arbitration feeling that the process levels something is to be desired, this time it's an insurance company who feels that way. So, I mean, good for her. She beat the insurance company, I guess.
I got a devil's advocate type of take here, because again, she hit the lottery. So HPV, I think I this is when we were in high school. HPV is like a 1 in every 6 type of thing. Like one in every 6 people have HPV, and you don't even fucking know.
If you went to college,
especially men.
If you went to college,
if you went to college, you have HPV.
Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong.
Oh my God. Hey, listen, if you went for that fucking degree,
it came with a little extra. It came with a little extra.
I'm fucking dead. Hey, so I think, again, when we were in high school, even in high school, because at the point when we were in high school, they had developed, I believe it was some type of shot this was at the very beginning of that, where they had developed some type of shot that you could get if you had not yet been sexually active that would keep you from getting HPV. I don't really know how well that went, because the statistics on it, I'm pretty sure the same, if not, I hate to say worse, because it's not, it's
everywhere.
Once you have it, once you have it, you have it. You can't get rid of it. If you're a male, there's no way to test for it, I don't believe. And you pass it without knowing it, obviously, because you don't even know you have it until your partner, it shows up in your partner, and they can be tested for it, and it shows up, and you can have different symptoms. We don't necessarily need to get in, like, I'm not getting into the OBGYN. I'm not gonna put on my OBGYN hat for this episode, but yeah. So again, it's everywhere. So here's my take on this.
Okay.
There is no way at all to confirm that he even is the one that gave her HPV. She could have just had an OB visit and been like, "No, you're good, bro. You don't no polyps, no nothing. You're good. No, you didn't. You're good. All tests are clear."
Right.
And then after sexual intercourse with old boy that also had throat cancer.
Well, that's the other thing. So I'm on an article now, and there is a comment, and it's a top comment. This is from Oklahoma. She says, I researched this further because my jaw was hanging open and surprised. I learned more, but none of it makes sense and just raises more questions. The man had HPV, throat cancer, and claims that he told the woman at least 3 times. But she denied knowing he had HPV. Despite knowing about his HPV, the man and woman had unprotected hookups on multiple occasions. The hookups occurred in locations other than the car insured by Geico. The hookups and lawsuit occurred in the woman's home state of Missouri, but the car was insured in a different nearby state. It was a year later that the woman tested positive for HPV. The woman has had other hookup partners in between, so then right there, you don't know. The man settled a claim with the woman for $5.2 million, but stipulated that it could only be collected from Geico, who had no part in the settlement agreement.
Obviously not.
So they weren't even a part of it. They were just like, yeah, and hey, Geico, you're on the hook. So
this
Geico
is so wild to me.
Geico claims that the man and woman colluded together for insurance fraud. Somehow the laws in Missouri allowed this to proceed and has left Geico on the hook for something not covered in an auto insurance policy. Something that cannot be even proven actually happened in this car by this insured man and was settled in an agreement that Geico was not a part of, but has to pay. Like she says, and then she says, my head hurts.
This is the wildest shit. Like,
right.
Here's first and foremost, the balls on this lawyer team, wild. To listen to this and take this on and be like, you know what? We got you. Because I guarantee you this chick didn't have, unless winning this money, she didn't have money to pay for this kind of lawyer. Like this kind of like law backing. I can't, my mouth isn't working, but you get it. Like she didn't have the funds to support this type of legal help. You know what I mean? So
Right.
for them to be like, whatever, if you don't win, you don't pay us shit. If you win, this is what you pay us, kind of thing. And typically in big cases like the Tiger's on your side. You know what I mean? Dyer Groffalo.
I can't believe he's still on TV.
Commercials that they have commercials that say like, we'll take on your case, and if we lose, you pay nothing.
Right.
But I mean, I've met them, and they don't lose a lot, so it's easy for them to be like, yeah, fuck it, yeah, we got you. So, but anyways, I just
I mean, they beat the system.
They beat the fuck out of the system, and they didn't beat just the system.
They beat states. They
beat government, the state government system, and a top 5 money making insurance company in the world.
Right.
Like, I'm baffled. I mean, this is literally like hitting the lotto.
Yeah. Essentially,
because there's no way to prove that like this is the man that gave me HPV. There's no trail, like, you know what I mean? Like, you can't go to Verizon and be like, hey, I need all the people. You know what I mean? Like, you're not gonna be able to track this down like you can like text messages and shit. Like, this is crazy. This is wild.
I would agree. I mean, as I played the "What in the hell is this crap" soundbite, but I mean, it's true. Like, I don't understand how the hell any judge would agree, unless they were just having a bad day and they were like, you know what, Geico screwed me. Let's get them. You know, like,
I honestly would love to know what was going on with like the judge, like the whole, like the judge, and where they were at mentally to be like, yeah, fuck it, let's go, let's do this.
Right.
Let's check this out. I mean, this is nuts. It's just to me. So you grew up hearing about the lady that sued McDonald's for having hot coffee, for spilling hot coffee on herself, right?
Yeah, because it wasn't labeled.
No. So here's the thing. So at a later, more has come out about that since then. And this is when we were kids, like, yo, McDonald's got sued for hot coffee, blah, blah, blah. And you're, as a kid, you're just like, yeah, coffee's hot, you idiot. Of course, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
The judicial system's failed us. Like, this lady shouldn't be.
She shouldn't be
rewarded
cashing in
for this.
Right.
Here's the thing. This McDonald's had several complaints for their coffee being boiling hot, and it was proven that this McDonald's did not make their coffee the same exact way that they're supposed to at every other fucking McDonald's. They would make their coffee, and then they would do something. The way they kept their coffee would heat their coffee to a temperature that was in mass excess of what it should have been. Like,
well, hell,
if you grab the like, if you ever grab like a styrofoam cup
right.
of like hot coffee or whatever, and you're like, ah, oh, damn,
you'd be freaking out. You'd
hotter
drop
than that. She had like severe burns from it. Now,
right.
It was like, I don't know. I don't even remember what it was. It was in the millions that she won from McDonald's.
Yeah.
And this is when we were kids. So could I imagine what that would have been nowadays. But it was weird because I just learned that little bit right there like a month ago. It had come up in some shit I was listening to, and I was like, all right, cool. And I'm like listening more and more, and I was like, okay, all right, this is finally making sense now.
The thing is shit
none
like
of
that,
this is ever gonna make any sense.
Shit like this. I mean, and that ushered what this is. I mean, because people are going to always try to manipulate and break and beat and just any way to get money. I mean, that's just the way it's always been. Yeah.
I agree 100%.
I mean,
anything that's going to get them into a position where they don't ever have to worry about shit. Everybody's looking, like, not everybody, but there are those people that are like looking for that, like, I slipped and fell on a spill in Walmart that wasn't marked with a wet sign, and now I ain't got to work the rest of my life.
You see the
That
dudes
type
on
of
video
shit.
that get caught that like, oh, they like look around and they try to find a way to like slip, and then they just fall, and then the video like catches them just basically like on their back.
Yes.
Yeah, you see that shit
So-
all the time.
There used to be, I don't know that there is anymore, but there used to be TV shows about like insurance fraud like that. Like so and so's claiming like
True
that they're
TV.
off work. They're off work because they hurt their back and they can't do anything. And I just remember this episode.
Catch them at the gym and shit.
Where a private detective was sitting outside this dude's house and he was climbing up a fucking ladder and cleaning his gutter. It was,
Hey, bub, what are you doing there?
but any other pictures of old boy, he was out in public with a fucking back brace on over his clothes. You know what I mean? Like with a cane, couldn't move.
I know some individuals.
Oh, wait, do you really?
I'm not gonna name any
Like,
names.
That would do that, or like individuals that would be seen in public with a back brace on over their clothes.
Not a back
Because
brace. Not like that.
that's
egregious.
that's also a pet peeve of mine.
Like, I know some individuals that have skewed this system.
Oh, without a doubt.
I mean, everybody does. Everybody does.
how
you know.
about 25% of GM when it came time to like, we're getting past, I'm sorry if I'm offending anybody, but we're getting down that road of like, we're not ready to retire yet, but I'm fucking done working. And the benefits at GM are way better than what they should be.
Okay. So
Yeah,
you're saying
dog, there's people that had been paid, and the way that those union contracts and pensions and disabilities were set up to where I knew people that didn't work for 15 fucking years and were paid like they had been working since.
yeah. Unfortunately.
Set up. So,
Oh, yeah.
but that was part of why GM did not do well during the recession. I mean, don't get me wrong. A lot of places didn't do well during the recession, but there were certain parts of GM that closed down completely. We can attest to that here in Dayton because there was a very large GM. I think close to 30 some thousand jobs in Dayton were attached to GM and Delphi all over Dayton. And
Right.
All of them closed down. And it was shit like that was not helping their case because you're paying people out salary and insurance, and they're not working. They're not doing shit.
I wonder how many people.
And you're paying their union dues.
Yeah. I wonder how many people found out like that there was a possible shutdown coming and then was like, oh, my back hurts. Like, I wonder if there's a correlation. Like,
But it wouldn't have done you any good at that point because at that point,
well, way before, like,
buyout-
say it leaked out.
Well, but I'm saying though, like even at that point, the buyout was going to be the buyout. So
Okay.
whether you were off work on disability
Mhm.
or you were working and clocking in, doing your 40, 50 hours a week, whatever the fuck you were doing, the buyout was still the same. Like that whole bullshit was not going to keep going because who
Okay.
was going to pay for it? You know what I mean? Your union wasn't going to pay for it.
Right. Because
GM wasn't going to pay for it. Yeah,
Right.
they're not on the
Right.
hook for it. You could take this buyout, or you could take nothing. What are you gonna do? So
Take
people
this
were like,
and
"Ah,
nuts."
fuck it. I guess I'll take the. I guess I'll take that fucking buyout.
Yeah, I guess so. Fuck.
God dang, dude. How did
I-
we get to fucking G?
I mean, that's what it is, man. Like, people just skew the system. There was all
Oh,
kinds of
yeah.
guys in the military. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
people.
There's
People are always
always going
doing
to be
shit.
those people that want to be, that feel they should be paid, but they don't want to have to do anything. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, being in the position I'm in now, something I
You
have to
see
deal
it.
with, and somebody had to move on from the company I work for through me because they were one of those people that didn't heed any of my warnings, didn't heed any
Right.
warnings that came previous to me, and wanted to be paid and collect benefits, but didn't want to work. It's very simple. In business, there is in fact a duty, and this is in business. Like you can look this up. As an employer, your employer has a duty to you. As an employee, you have a duty to your employer. And it's very simple. I mean, if you want to break it down to like Crayola and fucking white paper, you work, you get paid. You don't work, eventually you get fired.
Right.
And that's what happens. So unfortunately, there are a lot of things that protect you because there's certain things that are put into place by state law, as well as other things that a company can't just come in and be like, you're fucking fired. Now, there are certain states where they can do that. Ohio
Right.
happens to be one of them, but there's still company regulations and company, like, you have to have your shit together when you do let somebody go, because it needs, you can't just be out here firing somebody for no reason. Again, that comes into the duty as an employer to an employee.
Right.
You have to be like, it has to be somebody that's really not doing what they should be doing.
Yeah, you gotta have a viable reason.
Right. You can't just be like, I don't like the way you talk. Your voice gets on my nerves. You're fired. Like,
You're
it doesn't
fucking-
work like that.
This guy's fucking in, you're fucking out. See you later.
You're fucking out.
Right. I mean, there has to be a
it's
good, like,
yes. Well, right.
reason. And if it were to go to
more
court,
times than not, when it comes to businesses nowadays, more times than not, you are past the point of like, enough is enough. Like, you are past the point of collecting enough shit to where you're like, unfortunately, at this time, we're gonna have to let you go. Like, usually when it comes to that, eventually, you had already had enough shit to be like, yo, we've got to go our separate ways as a company. So and that's something that's changed, because I mean, back in the day, I could say when we were kids, and a lot of industries where somebody could walk up to you and be like, you're done here.
here's your papers.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely changed. I mean,
yeah.
even in the military, it took an act of God to get you out. You had to have a very good reason. And then
Yeah.
where I'm at now, which I'm, but it's an act of God to get you out. And you got to have history, paperwork behind it, and all kinds of other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just, I don't know, man. Just go to fucking work.
It's
Why-
again,
It's more
very-
work to
but
try to
there's-
slide by, dude.
but that's what I've always felt was crazy, as being like where I am now, or like years ago, landscape foreman. I had witnessed people working harder at trying not to work than actually fucking working.
Oh, yeah.
Did I tell you the story of the dude that faked a heart attack in somebody's front yard?
No. What is
Okay,
this?
so I had not been a landscape foreman for long. We had a small mowing crew, like, it was nothing major.
Mhm.
The company that I was with at that time, and he was I think he had only been with this company for a couple weeks at this point. With landscape, there's a ton of turnover because it's very hardcore, manual labor, not high pay. It just is what it is. So the turnover is unreal with landscape work. But anyways, old boy had faked a heart attack in somebody's front yard. I get there. I said, okay. I was like, hey, you guys calling? He's telling us not to call 911. He said this happens. I'm like, well, heart attacks just don't happen like that. So go ahead and call. No, he won't. He's saying not to call 911. I was just like, at this point, I should have just called 911 myself. But I was like, this dude ain't having a fucking heart attack, because he's
Mhm.
telling you not to call 911. Like, this dude's fine. I gambled. I shouldn't have gambled. I should have just told him to call 911. Stop listening to him. I get there. He's sitting, leaned up against a tree. He's perfectly fine. And he's like, hey, can you take me back to my car? I'm just like, well, yeah, that's why I'm here. Like, I'm here to take you back to the office. We're on the road and I'm talking to him. I'm just like, how you feeling? Like, is everything okay? Like, if you want, we can just go straight to the valley. No, it's all good. This happens sometimes. I'm just like, I know enough to know that heart attacks just don't happen sometimes like this.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, heart attacks happen often, like in general, but not like, oh yeah, it's no big deal. This happens sometimes.
Yeah, like I'm good.
Like,
it happened.
I rolled my
week.
ankle. It's no, yeah, you know what I mean. I got weak ankles. It's fine.
This artery's clogged. Don't worry, I'm good.
He asked me to stop at Speedway, and he bought a Mountain Dew and a Snickers bar.
I was about to say, give me one of those Mountain Dews. That'll unclog that artery. That's just. I don't need no stent.
I'll stop at Speedway. Because I'm like, yeah, fuck it. This dude, there's nothing wrong with this dude. I was like, I'll stop at Speedway because this isn't gonna help him any. Goes in, comes out.
Well, you got a story
Snickers,
to tell. Hey,
king size Snickers and a Mountain Dew, and I didn't say shit. I didn't say anything.
You know what it sounds like?
Back to the shop we go.
It sounds like his blood sugar was low, and that was about it. And he about fucking stroked out, probably.
He didn't have the beatus either. So
the beatus.
Get back to the shop. He's like, yeah, I think I'm gonna be all right. You know, it's when the heat gets like this. And I was just like, nah, man. You said you had a heart attack. I'm gonna need you to hang out until you're gonna have to chill for a while until the owners get here because I don't know what else to do.
Right. Even if you didn't, I don't want to put myself in a position where I was like, nah, I know you didn't.
At this point, I was so young, like I didn't know like all the like
symptoms and signs.
No. I knew all that. I didn't know like work wise, like what do I do? Like, what am I supposed to do to like that? That's why I was just like, you got to chill till the owners get here because I don't know what the fuck. I was like, you definitely can't leave though. Like you just said you had a heart attack. You're supposed to let me let you ride out of here. So I was like, you got to stay. And basically they came like, oh, you okay? Well, if you had a heart attack, then the EMTs are just gonna come here and get you because we need you need to you got to have all these tests done. You got to He's like, oh no, and he refused to do it and he just quit. He's like, I this isn't, you know what I mean? This is this fuck it. It was
the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
I mean,
exactly.
We had a dude that had a heart attack at the golf course. I mean, but
he had a real heart attack. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He didn't ask you for a Snickers bar.
He didn't make it, so no.
Well, R.I.P. Exactly.
I mean, it was it's legit.
That's what kills me when again, people working harder to not work than actually just fucking working and getting on with their day, getting on with their life.
Right.
How does your conscience handle this company's paying you money and you're just running around trying to avoid actually having to do anything?
Yeah. I mean, it's probably not that it's work, especially, I mean, that kind of work it's tough. And if it's hot, it sucks. I mean, there's no way around it, but it's your job. I mean, where are you going to go? And probably at that time, what was it, like 2008, 2009, 10?
It was... Okay, so let's see, 2006 graduation. It would have been between 2009 and 2010, somewhere in there.
The economy wasn't great.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't.
If you
That's
leave...
the thing. There are certain things that were not affected by the economy, and as a landscape and yard care company, you have to have money to pay for those kind of things,
right?
Nobody
Doctors,
living in a
shit like that
at a $60,000 house is calling a fucking landscape company to come cut their grass or mulch their beds. You know what I mean? Or hey, come build me a retaining wall or some shit like that. Like that's not the type of customers that you
Right.
have as a landscape company. Unaffected. Busy
Right.
as ever, still working 60, 70-hour weeks, sun up, sun down, unless it's raining, and even sometimes in the rain. So it's interesting how some things didn't change at all.
Well,
Even through the recession.
doctors are always going to be there. You know, big jobs like that, they ain't going anywhere.
Well,
I mean-
no, because your people. How do I say this? I was about to say your people at the top are usually protected. That's not necessarily what I mean to say, though. Like, at a certain point, when you've risen to a certain level, your job security is a little bit more intact than you are when you're closer to like an entry level position.
Right.
So
That's where it's
Yeah.
where you get the axe most of the time.
right. I'm glad I reworded that because I was about to be like, yeah, man, fuck it.
Now, we get what you're saying.
Mhm.
We'll move on to some sports news. DK
Please
Metcalf.
get me out of here. I need sport.
DK Metcalf is possibly in a holdout situation. Pete Carroll
He
doesn't.
isn't, not possibly. I'm pretty sure he's all the way in his holdout, which I
I
had
can't
a
blame
feeling
him.
was coming. God no, bro, that team's gonna be dog shit.
Drew Lock as your number one.
No, Pete Carroll, it don't matter. You don't have Russell Wilson anymore. Pete Carroll was considering retiring a year ago.
Pete Carroll's the oldest coach in the NFL.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, what do you do? Like, okay, so DK does hold out. What are you gonna do? You gonna pay him or you gonna let him go?
Well,
Because if you at this point, here's my thing: once an athlete's like, "Hey, I'm holding out," that you ain't never gonna get 110 from that dude.
oh no.
Once
mean,
that
yeah, I don't think-
athlete's like, "Pay me or I ain't doing shit," or "I'm not happy here." As soon as that happens, just do whatever to go your
Get him back on
separate
track.
ways.
Well, get him back
No,
on
fuck
track,
that.
or
How you gonna get DK Metcalf on track?
go get a quarterback.
They can't.
Well, they should have drafted one. They had the
They should have,
opportunity.
but that's what I'm saying. Like, what are they gonna do? They're fucked.
Drew Lock, man. The guy who fucking dances
be the
after he
last in
gains
their
fucking
division.
3 yards.
They will be the last in their division. They are now the fucking West Coast Panthers.
I would
No.
honestly.
They're the West Coast Jaguars.
Yeah, that's yeah. I would say they're the West Coast Dolphins.
beast. No, because the Dolphins are going to be better this year than they were last year.
Dolphins could have
DK
all the
is a
fucking shit in the world. They
monster.
still will fuck it up.
DK's
Watch.
a monster. But
Oh
he's
no,
a
I
wide receiver.
agree.
So he ain't shit without a good quarterback. And Russell Wilson was the best quarterback that team's had, and he's better than fucking Hasselbeck. Hasselbeck
yeah.
was duty. So
That's the best quarterback they've had probably in their franchise history.
Since I could even possibly imagine remembering. So yeah, I don't. They're doomed.
For a while,
So
yeah.
If I was him, I'd be like, yeah, I'm holding out. You're gonna have to pay me literally highest paid receiver money ever, or trade me just to hold him ransom. Just be like, hey, either trade me or fucking pay me this amount of money.
I can't blame them. When
Yeah, I would do exactly the same thing.
But I know he did have surgery on his ankle, so there is some story behind it to why he's not at camp, which is a 3-day mini camp. Who gives a shit?
Well, yeah,
Nobody-
gives a fuck about that.
Nobody cares about that. When we get into
Mm-mm.
late July, that's when it matters. But for
OTAs.
right now, yeah, it's something to watch. It's something that's starting
I
to
think
brew. But it,
I think it'll
I
only get worse.
oh yeah, I agree. But just keep your eye out on it. Did you see anything about the PGA? I know you don't watch the PGA, nor do I.
Mm-mm.
So the PGA has suspended multiple golfers over a LIV event, which is Saudi money backed. Like the Saudis are paying golfers to play in this event.
What's wrong with that?
It's Saudi money, dude.
That's racist.
That's not.
What's the matter with it? What's the matter
where
with monies it is?
Because Saudi money, they think that. Well, one, it's in their pockets. It's taking good golfers and possibly showing, hey, PGA just ain't it, which the PGA is not going to allow. So it's a power move.
Understandable. Yeah.
That's
either kind of play with us or, yeah.
Yeah, some of the golfers, if they were to tee off in this event, they were suspended for, I don't know how long yet. The PGA really hasn't said. The PGA came out with the suspension exactly after the first tee off. So some of the golfers, and some of the names you might know, Phil Mickelson, Dustin Johnson, Ian Poulter, Lee Westwood, and Sergio Garcia. Some of them, I think Dustin Johnson, Phil Mickelson, and Sergio Garcia are Masters winners.
What are they worried about?
I mean, it's a big deal. I mean, if they start up another golfing tournament or association, they lose their golfers,
They're still going to be, I mean, does this conflict with like PGA dates or something?
No.
So then what the fuck does it matter?
It's something.
Golf is not some type of like, you have to be a good golfer. I'm sure you have to be in shape. I'm not a golfer. I have no fucking clue. But I would assume to be a golfer at that, even any kind of level, you have to be decently healthy. And then as you go, the better you are, probably the more healthy you are, fucking whatever.
Right. I'm sitting here reading some of this
multiple times a week, and it's not like you're playing football. So I feel like you could probably be in multiple leagues. I don't know what to call it. I have no clue because I don't know anything about golf.
Association. Yeah.
Associations.
Same thing.
And it wouldn't matter, like, especially if the dates. The only thing I can see it being a problem is if the dates like conflict.
Right, coincide with.
Outside of that, like, I don't know why it would matter.
I mean, dude, it's political. I mean, they don't want golfers having Saudi money. I guess. I don't, man. So I was watching, sorry. I was watching, what's his name? Pat McAfee. And they started talking about it. And then they got into this, well, I'm a better person than you because I don't take Saudi money. And they were just joking around about it, And they were like, it doesn't make any fucking sense, just like you said. I mean, it just doesn't. Says the Live Golf is supported by Public Investment Fund of Saudi Arabia, which is controlled by Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. Solomon? Solomon? I don't know. Either way, has been accused of numerous human rights violations, including the murder of Washington Post journalist Jamal Khashoggi in 2018. Four-time major winner Rory McIlroy, speaking at the news conference at the RBC Canadian Open in Toronto on Wednesday, said he was concerned about golf's future. Quote, I think it's the shame that it's going to fracture the game, McIlroy said. I think it's, if anything, the professional game is the window shop into golf. If the general public are confused about who is playing where and what tournament on what week, then okay, he doesn't get into these events. It seems to become confusing. So again, that's what I'm saying. Like, they're worried. McIlroy's playing company, man, and saying, hey,
Oh yeah.
if they start joining this, then we got this and this. Which league is the best? We don't know. So,
yeah.
I mean, that's where it's at. I mean, McElroy knows where his money lies, you know, so he's going to obviously back the PGA. But I didn't know if you saw that.
No, that's the first I've heard about that. Honestly, I hadn't. But I mean, I don't ever get any updates about golf except for like a couple random things here and there.
Right.
I know we had talked about it a little bit either last episode or the episode before that. But yeah, no, that's the first I've heard about that. That's interesting. I would side with McAfee and them. Like, I think it's.
If we start digging where money comes from, dude.
Well,
come on, man.
When it comes to golfing in America, it is. Don't get me wrong, it's come a long way. But if need be, we can go back to the history in the beginning of golf, and it's not going to be great or pretty because it didn't used to be an all-inclusive group.
True
I mean,
story,
I feel like that. I don't need to say anything else. Like, golfing wasn't necessarily an all-inclusive group for everybody to come play. So,
no, a lot of your country clubs did not allow certain people.
For people that don't know, Trump's owned country club was one of the first in its area to allow other people to come play that weren't white.
Oh yeah, I mean, Miami Valley Golf Course.
That's just a fun fact for today. I don't know if everybody knows that. I just figured I'd throw that out there.
Miami Valley Golf Course didn't let Jews play for a while. I mean, that's a real thing. They didn't let Jewish people play at their golf course.
Yo, that was poorly timed by you. I don't appreciate it.
You're the one that took the drink. I'm just telling you the truth. And that's why some of these other golf courses in Dayton were built. I mean, there's nothing to hide about it. That's a thing that really happened.
I wasn't expecting that, but I had heard about that. Yes.
I mean, that's a real deal thing. It's so stupid to me. I don't understand it. Like,
it's just one of those things, man. What's there to understand
the world
when it comes
was so
to segregation?
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, yeah, like you said, like, golf's got a good history. Like, shut the fuck up. Let these guys make their money.
Right, exactly. So and I think that's where probably some of that bullshit's coming from. Like, how dare you go, how dare you be your own person and go make money wherever the fuck you want to make it at? Like, get out of here.
Yeah. Who gives a shit? You're a better person because you play in the PGA?
Right. If they push too hard, it won't go in their favor. Because what is the PGA? You know what I mean? That's just a name. So the best golfers could have golfed under any association name or any title name. It just happened to be the PGA. Right. So there's no reason there can't be something else. And if they continue to keep fucking up and telling people where they can and can't make money at, I don't know that it'll go great for them.
Right.
In time.
Well, I mean, we got the same issue with the NCAA.
Yeah.
It's brewing, but we won't get into that today. We have a new billionaire in LeBron saying that he wants a team in Vegas after he retires.
Wait, what?
Yeah, he said he wanted to have a team of his own where he built and bought, or he was the owner, and had him in Vegas.
Basketball team?
Yeah, which is a high destination. The NBA is looking to expand, and I think they want 2 teams. They want definitely one in Seattle because they want to bring back the Supersonics because they basically took them away.
So they're going to move teams to these 2 spots or just create 2 more?
Create 2 more.
Interesting.
They're going to expand. There will be an expansion.
Where would they play?
team.
Well, I don't. That was going to be a dumb question.
The first one was Seattle. The second place or second area, which they have in the summertime, they have the NBA Rec League for all rookies in Las Vegas. So like, after the season's over here in like a month, they'll be playing the rookies in Vegas, and you can go see them. They'll be playing like multiple games at MGM, Caesars, all that shit. And I mean,
Right.
every team takes part in it, and they play like a tournament style season. It's like a short 2-month season for rookies.
Yeah, I'm sure it's better than the Big Three.
Oh God, yes.
The Big Three is fucking dog shit.
But I mean, it's a matter
like
of
semi-pro football.
it's washed up, dude. That's all it is. Semi-pro football is at least tolerable to watch,
No, it's not.
dude. I will watch the XFL. I will watch it.
That's not semi-pro football, dude.
What are we talking
The
about?
XFL
We
is
talking?
professional. I'm talking like Dayton Bulldogs.
Oh
Semi-pro
well,
football.
no, I'm not watching. You can't find that on TV. It's just,
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
but yeah, he wants to have a team in Vegas. I think it's on The Shop, the show on HBO that they have where they sit down in the barbershop and they talk and da.
I know we talked about the Shop on a previous episode of the podcast.
Yeah, we've talked about it. I mean, it is what it is. It's not surprising for him to say that, because
No.
I'm sure he wants to be just like MJ and have ownership in a team. I mean, would he be good with it? Who knows? But it'll be interesting. I know that Vegas will probably get a team. Seattle should get a team. And then there was other destinations, and Cincinnati was one of them. That would be fucking dope if we got one back, because we had the Royals back in the day. But that would be cool if we did have one, because I would go to some games. But we'll see what happens. It's on the horizon the next 5 to 7 years.
3-sport city again.
Yeah, that'd be fucking dope. Just some other things. AD re-signed. We saw that. He's the highest paid non-QB player.
Yep.
Cooper Kupp re-signed. People are bitching because
That was just last night.
We've somehow broken the cap again.
Well, I mean, there is no cap in the NFL.
There's a cap in the NFL.
I mean, depending on the team.
Come on,
It's
dude.
it's just the team's choice to stick to it or not. You know what I mean?
Nah,
the
dude,
money
this
comes
ain't-
where the money comes from. So,
Dude, you get heavily
mean-
fined if you go over the cap. There's a cap.
yeah, it's just a fine. What's a fine?
The fine in the NFL
Randy
is...
Moss told us what a fine was. You know what I mean?
Nah, dude. Nah, dude. Straight cash, homie.
Right. I mean, it is what it is. It's whatever. But
I don't. It doesn't work that way. For anybody
I
that's
do-
watching this, please understand that there is a cap in football.
Oh shit!
Don't get me stirred up.
I remember seeing
Anyway.
that last night though.
Yeah, collectively they will make $205 million. Quite a bit of money.
Big chunk of the cap.
I mean,
But the cap is a year-to-year thing. So
Right,
that's why
it goes
matters-
up.
That's why it matters where the contracts are in a specific year.
they
'Cause
are
you're not gonna make the
projecting
same money this year as you make next year, or you're not going
Right.
to make the same amount of money the first year of your contract as you will at the last year of your contract or the tail end of your contract. So that's a big thing to pay attention to when it comes to contracts and salary caps and everything else like that.
right, and that lets us segue into this week's
And they're not paying that shit. So. We got a Ho Rock Bottom this week?
Yeah, we got a
Oh,
Rock
we
Bottom.
have a Ho Rock Bottom this week. Yeah, I don't know how it could be anybody else right now because
Right. So Deshaun Watson, like we said,
you may have played yourself.
Deshaun, we can talk about his contract. This year he was due to be paid $1 million. That's obviously the Browns see that the NFL is going to come in and probably hammer down on his ass because, I mean, the past week and a half, we've gotten news every single day about him doing something, but to
Unsavory.
another individual. I believe there are 2 more cases that have come been brought up since he joined the Browns.
Yeah.
So that puts him at what, 24? If you don't know, and we will go into some detail because I have an article here that is pretty graphic. So if you don't want to hear it, tune out. If you do,
graphic.
Yeah, it's pretty graphic.
Is it really? This will be the first I've heard about this.
Yeah. I think I sent it to you guys in the text. I think your brother was like, "This dude's shooting ropes."
Oh no.
So, anyways,
no.
So we're gonna go into this. So let me read this because it's quite.
Yes, please.
It's not lengthy, but it'll be a minute. The accusations have been, and this comes from the Baltimore Sun. I believe it is Jenny Vrentas that has written it from the New York Times. This was printed June 8th, 2022 at 7:19. The accusations have been frequent and startling. More than 24 women have said football star Deshaun Watson has harassed or assaulted them during massage appointments that Watson and his lawyers insist were innocuous. 2 grand juries in Texas this year declined to charge him criminally, and while the NFL considers whether to discipline him, he has gotten another job, signing a 5-year, $230 million fully guaranteed contract to play the quarterback for the Browns this coming season. Like we said, he was due to be paid $1 million this year. That's obviously back-ended, but we'll go back to the article. It is time, Watson and his representatives say, for everyone to move on. Yet a New York Times examination of records, including depositions and evidence for civil lawsuits as well as the interviews of some women, showed that Watson engaged in more questionable behavior than previously known. The Times review also showed that Watson's conduct was enabled, knowingly or not, by the team he played for at the time. The Houston Texans, which provided the venue Watson used for some of the appointments. So there we go. They gave him a venue. A team representative also furnished him with a non-disclosure agreement after a woman who is now suing him threatened online to expose his behavior. So he's gotten an NDA from the Texans. I don't know who exactly, but somebody on the staff has provided him with an NDA.
Bruh.
Yeah. So now the Texans are involved. Rusty Hardin, Watson's lawyer, said his client continues to vehemently deny the allegations in the lawsuits. He declined to respond in detail to the Times questions, but said in a statement, "We can say when the real facts are known, this issue will appear in a different light." The Texans did not respond to any specific questions about Watson's use of team resources. They said in a statement that they first learned of the allegations against him in March of 21, have cooperated with investigators, and will continue to do so. A spokesperson for the Browns said that the team had no immediate comment, and NFL spokesman declined to comment, saying that Watson's matter is under review. Watson has said publicly that he hired 40 different therapists across 5 seasons in Houston while he played for the Houston Texans. But the Times are reporting that he found that he booked appointments with at least 66 different women in just 17 months from the fall of 2019 through spring of 21. I think if we did the math, I heard this somewhere, it was somewhere around 3 therapists a month. Either way, a few of these additional women speaking publicly for the first time described experiences that undercut Watson's insistence that he was only seeking professional massage therapy. One woman who did not sue Watson or complain to police told the Times that he was persistent in his request for sexual acts during their massage, including, quote, begging her to put her mouth around his penis. "I specifically had to say, no, I can't do that," said the woman, who spoke on a condition of anonymity to protect her family's privacy. "And that's when I went into asking him, what is it like being famous? Like, what's going on?
you're going to mess everything up. It then goes into the wave of lawsuits. Before Watson was drafted by the Texans, the 12th overall pick in 2017, he was a championship-winning quarterback at the Gainesville, Georgia High School, and then went on to Clemson University, where he won a national championship there. NFL teams widely viewed him as prospective franchise quarterback with no known character issues. He seemed to be living up to the billing when Hurricane Harvey walloped Houston in August of 2017. Before Watson's rookie season, he donated his first game check to the stadium cafeteria employees who were affected by the storm. Since the first wave of suits were filed against Watson last year, the main allegations against him have become familiar. Women complain that Watson turned massages sexual without their consent, including purposely touching them with his penis and coercing sexual acts. It's not clear when he began looking for so many different women to give him massages. Harden said that his client needed a book of appointments ad hoc when the coronavirus pandemic began. Though Watson began working with numerous women before then, not all the women who gave Watson massages between October 2019 and March 21 have detailed their interactions with him. Some who have shared their experiences say that they had no problems with him. Others describe troubling and similar behaviors. The 66 women are 24 who have sued him, including 2 who have filed suits within the past week. In the most recent suit, the woman said that Watson masturbated during the massage. A woman who sued but then withdrew the complaint because of privacy and security concerns. Let's see. I think 2 women who have filed criminal complaints against Watson but did not sue him. At least 15 therapists who have issued statements of support for Watson, at least requests of his lawyers, gave him massages during that period. So 15 of them he didn't do anything to, they're saying. At least 4 therapists from Genuine Touch, the massage therapy group contracted with the Texans. 5 women identified by the plaintiff's lawyers during the investigation for their civil suits. At least 15 other women whose appointments with Watson were confirmed through interviews and records reviewed by the Times. A deeper look at the lawsuits include a review of private messages entered as evidence, shows that lengthy efforts by Watson to book massages and methods he used to assure women that he could be trusted. One woman who sued Watson was a flight attendant who began taking massage therapy classes during the pandemic. She and Watson were in the same social circle, but Watson acknowledged in the deposition that they had never really spoken except to say hello. In November 20, after a friendly exchange on Instagram, Watson saw that the woman was a massage therapist and sent a message asking for an appointment. As they struggled to work out a time, Watson told her, "Just trying to support black business." As a message he kept repeating. Watson regularly presented himself as an ally to businesswomen. In a lawsuit filed this week, the therapist alleged that he told her that he really wanted to support black business. On another occasion, he left a woman perplexed when he purchased 30 bottles of her $40 skin cleanser. In a message to the woman whom he knew from social circles, Watson asked to meet the Houstonian at an upscale hotel and club where the Texans had secured a membership for him. She said she wasn't comfortable going to the hotel because she knew Watson's girlfriend, and indeed had once babysat her and a younger brother. A woman told Watson she wanted to keep things professional and respectful. "Oh, most definitely, always professional," he texted. "I even have an NDA I have a therapist signed too." So, why is he having massage therapists sign NDAs? I don't know. I don't know if that's normal. I wouldn't think it would be.
I don't think that's normal.
I mean,
there's no what reason? So massage therapy, on any basis, especially as a professional athlete, is for your recovery. Right. What do you need a non-disclosure for about your recovery?
Right.
Because if you're my only thing is, maybe I don't want people to know I'm injured. If you're injured, that's part of the team's report. Everybody knows if you're injured.
Well, yeah, you have
For
to. You have to
anything.
disclose it
For anything.
because
So-
of betting lines and stuff, mostly. But yeah, you have to
For
disclose it.
there to be a non-disclosure, I mean, it doesn't look good.
No. And this is to every single therapist that he went to.
Right.
He was referring to the non-disclosure agreement he had received just days earlier from a member of the Texans security staff. Watson didn't explain in the text how the woman would benefit from signing a document meant to protect him. Finally, the woman suggested they meet at her mother's home in Manville, a 30-minute drive for Watson. He responded, "Damn, that's hella far," but agreed to make the trip. In a lawsuit, the woman filed against Watson last year said she was uneasy with his directions to get up in there during the massage, but chalked it up to her inexperience and agreed to work with him again. He then ejaculated during the second appointment and then asked her for another massage later that day at the Houstonian. She first agreed, then told him she could not make it. She eventually blocked his number. I don't know. That sounds pretty suspect there from both sides.
That whole everything about that sounds suspect.
Right. So this is now him initiating sex, it says. Most of the women Watson saw for massages did not sue or call police. But even some who did not complain said Watson came looking for sex. The woman who sold bottles of cleansers to Watson had a few appointments with him during the summer of 20. This aesthetician, who spoke on condition of anonymity to protect her privacy, told Watson he booked an appointment that she was licensed only to give him a back facial, but said in an interview with the Times that he got fully undressed and it directed her toward his groin. While she said there was no sexual contact, she believed that he was seeking more than a professional massage.
Obviously.
Right. Watson and his lawyers have said he was only seeking massages. The lawyers have acknowledged that Watson had sexual contact with 3 of the women who have sued him, but the sexual acts took place after the massages, they said, and were initiated by the women. Asked whether they were asserting that Watson never had sexual contact with any other massage therapist, Hardin didn't respond. So that's Hardin is his lawyer. Another woman who spoke to the Times, a physical therapist who did not sue Watson, said he initiated sexual contact in all 3 of their appointments. This woman, who spoke on condition of anonymity to protect her privacy, said that she began working with Watson's back, but when he flipped over, she said his demeanor and voice changed, and he began aggressively dictating where he wanted her to touch him. In the first session, she said he got into the happy baby yoga pose.
Okay, bro.
On his back, with his feet in his hands, and asked her to massage between his testicles and anus. We went over this. What do you call that there?
That's your perineum.
Yeah. She laughed off the request, but said he grabbed her wrist and put her hand there. The woman said Watson twice initiated sexual intercourse, once by pulling down the scrubs she was wearing. She and Watson knew each other from around town and were friendly on terms, and she admitted she let him proceed with the sexual acts. I just didn't know how to tell him no. Hardin said in a statement, it would be irresponsible and premature for us to come to a vague details put forth by anonymous individuals. In June 2020, Watson began frequenting a spa and a strip mall off Interstate 45, at least 30-minute drive from his home or work. He found a new you spa on Instagram and sent messages. The owner of Deanne Lewis became a resource for Watson, able to connect him with multiple women. I'm sorry if I am
botching names, but she looked out for him. She said in a deposition, sometimes arranging for a security guard when Watson came in, concerned that the expensive cars he drove might make a target for robbery. She also got things from him. In November 20, Watson paid her $5,000, though, through an app, she said, to buy spa equipment. Lewis told one of the employees in a text, "I told you, I'll show you how to get money from men. That's my specialty." Lewis and her lawyer did not respond to the request for the comment. During the months of Lewis and Watson work together, she set up appointments for him with several women who worked there, none of whom were licensed in Texas to perform massages. One was a woman who said Watson begged for oral sex. So this whole situation is fucked.
So
it goes on and on.
I'm not even gonna go down the path of like devil's advocate because some of this shit's very, very detailed, very detailed, and there's a lot of different accusations.
There's a lot back and forth. It sounds like both sides could be in the wrong in some of them.
But it's like, how do you even get to this? How do you get to this point? How are you so fucking stupid?
Right, exactly.
To get yourself in this kind of position.
You thought you'd never get caught.
But even then, why?
I don't know, man.
But you're just Sean Watson. If you got some type of problem, you got some type of sexual deviancy type issue problem. You
for
don't
sure.
need massage therapist. Dog, just get a fucking Tinder. You know what I mean? Like,
well, even still, I mean, this dude's gonna be throwing out NDAs then. And then
even it doesn't make it right. But again,
No.
I shouldn't have said that because it's all about like everybody being on the same page, consent, like all parties agreeing. But again, that's why I say like get a Tinder because like I feel like if you're on a dating app such as Tinder, like people know what you're into, like what you're looking for. Like, you know what I mean? You could say, hey, yeah, obviously you know who I am. I'm Deshaun Watson. But there's actually dating apps for celebrities and people of that level. And it's not Tinder, but you can easily put on there like, if this is what really happened, you don't need to be accosting physical therapist or massage therapist to get your rocks off.
Well, and we saw what
unless that's what it takes for you to get your rocks off, which in fact means you have a problem and you need therapy.
Right. Well,
so
and at the beginning of the week, his lawyer said that happy endings aren't a crime. I mean,
listen,
we're already setting ourselves
his
up.
lawyer's going to get him fucked up in the game.
Right.
His lawyer's not doing him any favors by saying shit like that.
Yeah. The big thing is, I guess the bombshell now is that the Texans have somehow supplied him with an NDA. If that's the case,
they're fucked.
The NFL is gonna. I mean, they're gonna hammer him as they should.
Absolutely, because this doesn't do anything for it doesn't do anything for the shield of the NFL. It doesn't do anything for Deshaun Watson, obviously, but he's a grown man. He got himself into this situation. It doesn't do anything for the Texans, and most importantly, it doesn't do anything for the Browns.
No.
But what it does do something for is still a current member of the Cleveland Browns, your starting quarterback, Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, currently. But they excused him.
Bruh, hey, listen. They gonna need him.
They're gonna need somebody.
They're gonna need him. Hey, no, listen. Baker Mayfield's gonna be playing quarterback for the Browns.
Oh,
this season.
I have no idea. I have no doubt about
that's why
that.
he ain't gone. I mean, I feel like honestly, once this shit started heating up, he was just like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna go to this, but I'll see y'all here soon." Because it's like, what else are they gonna do? What else at this point in the season? What the fuck are the Browns gonna do?
Well, the other thing is I guess
say
my
this point in
question.
the season, this point in the off season, excuse me.
Right, we're coming into mini camps here. It's
Right.
only a month and a half away,
Mm-hmm.
already. But my question is, do you think that the Browns may go back on the contract?
I don't even know if they can they?
There's a lot of language in it, from my understanding.
If this shit keeps getting worse and worse and worse, if I was them, I would. Like, what do you stand to gain by standing by the contract? Nothing.
Well, no, you're gonna get dragged for it. One,
right.
But my understanding from what I've read and heard, the Browns are pretty protected, but so is Deshaun, I guess, because somehow his agent has written in quite a few clauses that
His
has
agent's
saved
not an
him.
idiot.
No, I mean,
for sure.
obviously. That's the whole reason they went to, what was it, the Falcons, the Panthers, the Saints, the Browns. And there for a little bit, he told the Browns, I don't want to come to the Browns. And then all of a sudden it was, oh, wait, no, now we'll give you guaranteed this. And he was like, I'm coming to the Browns. You know, obviously that was his whole play. So, again, it just seems odd how it all played out because he asked for a trade. This all came out. That was suspect. And now he went to 5 different teams, flew around, had meetings, told separate teams, I'm only coming if you give me a guaranteed contract.
But that's normal, though, for like a high. That's normal. Like for him
But
to be
not
going
in this
out
situation.
Well, but not in the situation of all the allegations, but that's normal for a quarterback of his liking to go to different teams and say that, hey, I'm coming, but I'm not coming here unless it's a guaranteed contract because that's what he's been wanting.
I agree with you there. It's not out of the realm, but in this situation,
hey, you ready for another devil's advocate though?
What's up?
Why does Deshaun Watson need masseuses?
To pay off people?
No. Why does Deshaun Watson need masseuses and estheticians?
Why can't he have?
Oh, hold on.
All right.
Bruh's in the kitchen of his condo playing basketball with Mia Khalifa.
Well, that was the other thing we had a discussion with. I had a discussion with a couple people. And, I mean, if you don't know who Mia Khalifa is, she's a former...
bro, they know who Mia Khalifa is.
I'm sure you do if you've been watching
Mia Khalifa is.
For the most part, but there are some maybe people that don't. She's a former porn star.
Go find out.
And she got out the game.
Right.
She's a chaser, obviously. She hangs out with a lot of sports stars. She's hanging out with
Deshaun Watson in his kitchen.
She hangs out with a lot of sports stars still. Now, what she does in that time, I don't know.
We're all adults here.
I don't know. I don't know.
Hey, we're all adults here.
I'm not accusing nobody, nothing.
But here's my devil's advocate. And this is actually terrible because it's like I'm comparing. You know what I mean? I don't even want to fucking say it, but that's my job. What does he need? Masseuses and estheticians and such of the like. If he's having the Mia Khalifas of the world coming over to his spot to play basketball in his kitchen on a toy basketball rim.
In a maid outfit too, by the way.
Oh yes, I'm sorry, in a maid outfit that was most likely ordered off of Amazon or some shit.
See, that's what I said. I said, man, if I was in the position he was in, this is how the conversation kind of started. I said, if I was in the position that he was in, would you do that or would I do that? Hell no. If I knew I was innocent, guess what, dude? I'm locking myself down. I ain't going nowhere. I ain't hanging out with nobody.
Hey,
I ain't going.
Here's the thing. There was another female there because somebody had to video that pickup basketball game.
Yeah, it could have been.
Homie. It wasn't a homie.
I don't know.
Hey, if you got the Mia Khalifas of the world,
hey man,
playing
I don't
a pickup
know what
game
they do
on your plastic toy basketball thing in the kitchen of your condo, what do you need massage therapists and estheticians for? So maybe this is all just a lagging, nagging tail end of a sour Texans owner and team because he didn't want to play football with a losing organization.
I can't blame him there. I wouldn't want to play for a losing organization either. But I don't know what he does in his fucking off time.
Right.
That ain't. I mean, and that's not on the GM's fault, man. I mean, he can't. No. I can't hold your fucking hand everywhere you go, dude.
No.
I mean, you are your own individual.
Exactly. I'm just saying that's my. I don't even stand by that take because it's all bad. It's all bad for everybody involved.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I was playing devil's advocate and saying, would you do this? Would you put out a video? Would you let this video get out? If you thought and you wanted to put off a vibe that I was innocent, I mean,
I feel like it does put off that he's innocent because it's like, hey, man, I'm hanging out with her and the chick videoing this.
It's just not a good look, man.
No, it's not a good look. I'm be honest with you. It's really not. It's a terrible. It does not help him at all. It looks like shit.
I got it switched on me. I was told that it was kind of misogynistic to think that they would do something like that. And I was like, look, man. Yeah. I was told that it was misogynistic to think that they would do anything like that. And I said, I wasn't saying they were doing anything.
Who would do anything?
Between Deshaun and Mia Khalifa. I said, I don't know what they do. I don't know what they do. I don't care. I don't care what they do.
You know what they were doing. Yo, if Skeet Davison could get with Kim Kardashian, hey, listen. We know what she was doing over there.
Hey, man.
She was in a maid outfit. Bro, this isn't Cameo. This isn't porn Cameo, bro. She was in a maid outfit at his place.
I don't know what they do in their spare time. I mean, but I know, like I said, this is my whole point to the story. If I knew I didn't do the things that people are saying that I did, I'm not putting myself in that fucking position.
No, absolutely. I would agree with that 100%.
That's 110. All I'm saying. I don't give a shit what you do in the whatever, but I ain't putting myself in that position.
I agree with that.
Because I'm just that way. I'm just built different.
No, I agree.
But it's just stupid. It's just stupid. And they were like, everybody was like, oh, no, it's not that big a deal. What they do in their spare time. I'm like, okay.
It's a pretty big deal.
You can think whatever you want.
You're already going
but it will be used against you. It will be weaponized. It will be weaponized.
Especially, right. I mean, you're a celebrity. You're a superstar. Everybody's eyes are already on you. And now on top of that, you're going through the situation that you're going through. So 110% people are going to be looking at you and trying to see what you're doing and what you're not doing. And this don't look good.
Right. It just
I don't give a shit what you do with Mia Khalifa. That's between you guys.
Right.
But
I ain't putting it on IG
like this. Why? Yeah. Somebody videoing it and putting it out there. That's when you start to have a problem.
Dead wrong.
Nobody gives a fuck what you're doing, but keep it to yourself.
It's just, not like it's like
athletes and filming themselves working out. Like, I don't need to see you work out. I know you work out. What do I need to watch you work out? I don't know, man. Either way,
The Rock.
we ain't gonna get to The Rock. Leave The Rock alone. But I don't know, man. It's just a weird situation. It's a whole fucked up situation. I mean, what I've just read to you, 24 individuals have basically sued him. There are 66 total that we know of. I mean, the videos of him doing what he's doing come out. I mean, like I said, it's going to be weaponized against you. We're talking about it, and it's suspect as fuck.
It'll be interesting to see what happens because those are all civil cases. It's not legal. So
right. And I know that I think 19 of them, he gave $100,000. He offered $100,000 and they took it. So that's weird too.
If you're paid, but he could be paid for that just to be like, all right, like I want to be done with this. Let's see.
Right.
Because I could
That's
still
what it
take
is.
that same angle. Like, the FBI was involved with this, and they said, "We got nothing. We're done with this shit." The FBI. So
yeah,
man, there's so many different ways. Like,
there's a lot of angles to this. Like, do you?
Right.
I mean, what is there to believe at this point? I don't know what to believe, but it is something to talk about. And I mean, there are multiple angles to take this, and you can say that, it's one way to think this and one way to think that. I mean,
for sure,
you just make yourself look bad doing shit like you do.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, if I'm in any kind of situation like that, my ass ain't hanging out with nobody till I get my shit straight.
Well, but even then, it's like you just have to recognize that who you are matters, and you're always going to be in a spotlight, always. So he's making dumb, immature decisions with some of this shit. Like, again, nobody gives a shit who you're hanging out with, but you being who you are means you have to take extra precautions. So if you guys say, if you want a Mia Khalifa to come over, that's fine. There ain't nothing wrong with that. But hey, listen, no phones, cameras, GoPros, Nikons, whatever.
I mean, he might as well just throw an NDA over to them.
Right.
I mean, that's what he did to everybody else.
Right. So, but that's the thing. Like, I don't know, man.
I mean, that's what it is. It's just weird, man. It's all weird.
It is very weird, actually. It's some weird
to
shit.
think about
because there's a whole lot of other people in the NFL that go a whole career and then some without having to do some shit like this or go through some shit like this. So
right. And
that's what also is like.
Don't get me wrong, like the public always, for the most part, always doesn't side with the athlete. Oh, he did it. Yeah,
oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And they were talking about it on McAfee today. Like, well, we're former athletes, so I'm gonna try to defend the athlete. But man, this one's tough. Like Hawk and McAfee both were like, man, this was tough. Like, this one's tough. I don't know how. Like, I don't know how we do with everything that's coming out.
Right.
It's unfortunate. I mean, because he's fun to watch when he's in. He is for sure. He is a great athlete, and I mean,
I'm very interested to see what keeps coming out, and as we get close to training and everything else like that, like before you know it, we're gonna have
I think
team practices and shit like that. So
I think the NFL has to have some kind of say in it by the mid-July or end of July. I think that's the timeline is that they're aiming. So we'll have something in July. But
it's gonna be it's gonna be interesting.
We'll see what happens. I mean, it's tough. But you got anything else in this hour and 43-minute podcast?
That's it, man. That's it for me. I didn't really have a whole lot this week. Just been a busy week with work and the kid, and then I'm gonna work a work trip this weekend, so about to pack for that. So
we'll let you get to it, but we'll close this one out, and we'll see you guys next week on the pod.
Enjoy as always. Peace.
Thanks for listening to the Sticks and Stones podcast. Join us next time. And remember, keep it real.